Ladies and gentlemen, today a bag of cement is selling for about 120 Ghana cedis, which is just crazy. Like barely a week or 2 weeks ago, I told you that a bag of cement was selling at about 95 Ghana cedis, and I heard the prices were going to be increased, but nobody expected the prices to get to 120 Ghana cedis. And in this video, we are going to discuss why the price of cement is that high. We're also going to look at the prices of other building materials. We are going to look at what you can do to prevent the price of cement from becoming a challenge to your building project so that you can complete your building project, and what the ministry is doing about it, what the cement manufacturers are doing about it. All these and more coming up next. Now, if you are new to the channel, this is Africa Building Hub. We are creating a community of people who are interested in building, buying, or renting in Ghana, but we believe that whatever content we share is applicable anywhere in Africa. And so if you like that kind of content, kindly consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. With that said, let's get straight into the news. So the Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. K.T. Hammond, said that he has taken a decisive action to address the recent surge in cement prices by directing the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee to intervene immediately. This directive follows his earlier instruction to the cement manufacturing companies during its inauguration on March 8, 2024. Mr. Hammond emphasized the need for cement manufacturers in Ghana to reverse the recent price hikes promptly. Additionally, he urged the manufacturers to ensure transparency by mandating the publication of retail prices of all cement companies. According to the minister, the measure aims to curb arbitrary increases in cement prices which have burdened consumers. Furthermore, the minister reiterated his call for the adoption of a unified cement pricing mechanism across the nation. He proposed a model akin to the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, which regulates fuel retail prices in Ghana. Such a system would promote price consistency and fairness in the cement market. Okay, so now back to the issue at hand. Today, a bag of cement is selling at 120 cedis. Now, when I went around, you can get Gasem 32.5 R between 85 to 107 Ghana cedis. So those who have not yet increased their prices are selling it at 85 cedis. Those who have increased their prices are selling the 32.5 R for 107 Ghana cedis. The 42.5 R moved from 110 to 120. So you can get it at 110 in places, and you can get it as high as 120 Ghana cedis. CIMAF 32.5 R jumped from 85 cedis to 92 Ghana cedis in most places. And then the 42.5 R is selling between 90 to 105 Ghana cedis. Now, if you've purchased cement like recently this week, I want you to comment below how much you got it for and which area you purchased the cement at, so that everybody watching can know what the price of cement in any area is. Because the reason why we make this video where we send the updates on the prices of building materials is to create a body of knowledge, right? Where anybody can reference this video, especially the people who are building, yet to start building, people in the diaspora, people who are not on the ground to know the prices. When your artisans or your foreman or your contractor gives you an estimate, you can run it against this video and compare the prices. And then also, what I've learned recently is that the prices of building materials are not the same across the country, and that's just crazy. Today, I was at a church service somewhere, and then one minister who came to preach, who lives in Bogatanga, came and he mentioned something which was news to me. He said that the price of building materials, generally cement, iron rods, everything, is cheaper in Accra than places like Bogatanga, because you need to factor in the cost of transportation and all that. And so that's why for me, it's a community, right? It's not just me going to do my research and finding out the prices of building materials, but I also want you guys who are watching to tell me how much it costs where you are purchasing it. So comment below how much a bag of 32.5 hour cement, which brand it is, how much 42.5 hour cement, which brand, and where you purchased it. So that if somebody is watching and the person is not building in Accra, at least they get to know the prices in every area. I hope that is fair. So when I went out yesterday to purchase some cement, I mean, it was just chaotic. It was a mess. It was a serious mess. Why do I say it was a mess? So when I got to the vendor who was selling the cement, in fact, this particular shop that you are seeing in the shot, he told me to wait so that he compares to see what the current price is, because the price was just increasing day by day from like Tuesday. And so he needs to know if the price is increasing, so that if it's increasing, he increases it and sells it to me. That's just crazy. It's just crazy, right? And I told him that no, Charlie, we can't be living like that. So I mean, right now the cement prices are just crazy. And the sad thing is, cement is like one of the materials you are going to use most in your building project. On average, most people are going to use a minimum of 1,000 bags of cement in their building projects. Like you're doing a 3-4 bedroom, minimum 1,000 bags of cement for your block work, your plastering. If you are doing compound works and all, it's even crazy, right? You do screeding and all these things. And so imagine that we are moving from 70 to 100. That's 30 cedis. So if you are buying 1,000 bags, you are losing 30,000 cedis on those 1,000 bags between like a week ago till today. That's crazy. It's crazy. And if it's moved from, let's say, even 80 to 120, that's 40 cedis. And your 1,000 bags, you're losing 40,000 cedis. Wow. You know, and it's concerning because I know people who live in the diaspora who once they move to the diaspora, they stop all the work on their building sites. And then they wait till they come back. Right now, the country that we live in, Ghana, you cannot be taking such risks. You cannot wait to come back before your building project continues. Else, what I would advise if you find yourself in such a situation is to go into an agreement with like a merchant and then say, okay, you want 1,000 bags for your building project. You are buying it at this amount, which essentially is what hedging is, right? So you are hedging against future inflation. And so the person will be using your money to trade. Whenever you need a cement, they would supply it to you. And that way it ensures that you don't lose out, you don't suffer, and you can continue to build, right? Because the rate at which it's going is terrible. Now, another reason why this is super concerning for me is that cement is also a critical ingredient in the molding of cement blocks. And so today we are seeing that the price of blocks are moving from 6-7 cedis to 8-9 cedis, right? And for a typical maybe small 3-bedroom house, you probably need about 2,000 plus blocks. And so for each unit of block, you are losing about 2 cedis. And maybe it might get to 10 cedis pretty soon, right? So 2 to 3 cedis, it might not look much, but if you are using 2,000 to 10,000 blocks, you're losing between 6,000 to like maybe 30,000, depending on the quantity of blocks you are using. Because you do a fence wall as well, you know. So it's very concerning. And once cement prices begin to go up, not only blocks, even things that don't require cement would naturally increase. Iron rods prices have increased. The last time we came here and I spoke to you guys, a ton of iron rods was 7,600. Guess what? Today a ton of iron rods is 8,200 Ghana cedis, with the prices about to increase again. So if you purchased iron rods recently, comment below. Let me know how much you purchased it for where you purchased it from. It's really important to me. Again, if you are looking for a trip of sand, I was shocked to know that people are paying about 5,000 cedis for a trip of sand. In fact, it looks like Accra things are really cool because people in Sunyane and other places who commented on Instagram, TikTok, and even on the YouTube mentioned that they are purchasing their trips of sand for between 4,000 to 5,000 Ghana cedis, which again is just mind blowing. Like, it's super shocking. You know, and it's the same for stones. People are buying stones almost 6,000 cedis. Meanwhile, in Accra, you can get a trip of sand, at least where I purchased mine in the East municipality of Accra. You can get a trip of sand between 2,300 to 3,000 cedis, depending on the cubic capacity of the track. And then you can get the stones between, like, let's say 2,500 to 3,500. And then filling material that I purchased 3 trips recently, I got one for 1,200. So again, I want you guys to be commenting so that we can know how much it costs in your local area. Now, I promise that we are going to look at the factors that are influencing the increase in cement prices. The number one factor which is influencing the increase in cement prices is the exchange rate. The raw materials that are used, or the ingredients used in producing cement, which is clinker, right? It's not made in Ghana. And so we import it. Now today the dollar is sitting close to 15 Ghana cedis. And I think we need to spend time to talk about this, because I prepared like a graph of what the dollar rate has been over the past 11 years, right? So if you can see, let me just switch to that screen so that we can look at what the dollar rate has been. So in 2012, right, January 2012, the dollar was 1.68. Today, the dollar is 14.25. But even when you're making purchases outside Ghana, like I do a lot of purchases on Amazon, etc., right? What they will charge you is like 14.5, 14.6 cedis. And it's making things super difficult for me. I can understand the challenges that business owners get. So for example, I needed to buy memory sticks, right? And then, like, if you watched the last video, I said I was doing a bit of fundraising to purchase a new camera. Now, the camera I wanted to buy, right, was the Sony FX30. At the start of the year, no, at the ending of last year, when I went on AliExpress, the site where I purchased my stuff in China, I was selling for about 17,000, 18,000 cedis. And I didn't have money, so I waited. This year, around February, it moved to 20,000 cedis. Now, because of where the exchange rate is, the thing is about $2,000. It's selling for about 30,000 cedis. So between December of 2023 till May of 2024, which is just like 5 months, I've lost 13,000 cedis if I say I'm going to buy the camera now. And it's crazy because I'm scared at this point that if I don't sacrifice everything to buy a camera in December, where experts like Bloomberg and analysts are predicting that the dollar might reach 16 to 20 Ghana cedis, then it means I'm going to be paying 40,000 for that same camera. Like, it's just crazy. So I can even relate that with like the cameras that I purchased, right? So you guys know that I have these solar wireless cameras that I'm supplying, right? I started a business selling and supplying you subscriber solar wireless cameras. And for these cameras, the first time that I purchased the camera, okay, it was selling at, let's say, 2,000 Ghana cedis. Today, that same camera is selling for about 2,300 cedis, right? And then when it comes down, you're also going to pay customs duty, transportation, and all these things. And so I can understand how it's difficult for business owners to do business in Ghana, right? It's just terrible, because if you are selling something today, you'll be selling it at one price, and then tomorrow you need to increase your price. So I recently ordered new stock of the solar camera. So if you want some are still available. I cannot increase the price because I've communicated that it's 2,750 cedis. But at the rate at which the thing is going, it means that pretty soon I would need to increase the prices, right? Because one, even when the items get to the port and you are going to clear them, the rate that they are charging the items is in the dollar equivalent. So they price the thing, like, I've had experience because I started doing this thing. You order the thing, right? Even if you get a discount on it, they don't care. They go online, they pick the item like this, and then they look at it. Okay, solar wireless camera. Then they go online, and then they go and search. Okay, one is $175. Then they'll use that dollar amount to start calculating the taxes, the charges, and everything. And if you look at the various components of the taxes and charges, it's outrageous, right? And in the end, you are paying almost the same price as the unit you purchased. And so I can understand the importers of clinker and other raw materials required for cement. Once the dollar rate begins to increase, there isn't much they can do because their raw material has increased, the cost of production has increased, every other thing has increased. And so this conversation is a very big conversation that we need to have if we want Ghana to progress. Today, this evening, just before I started the live, I was talking to one guy who says he bought a parcel of land at Abokobi Hills, but he's selling it because he wants to leave the country. He's a young man, right? He wants to leave the country. So anyway, if you want to buy land, let me know. And he says he believes that when he leaves the country and he goes through the education route, completes the course he's doing, he gets a job wherever he is going, it's going to be easier for him when he comes back to Ghana to be able to buy another land or buy a house or whatever. So he bought 2 plots of land, but he's selling both to use the money to go and process visa and tickets, because for him it's an investment that will give him a good ROI, right? And that's exactly his words that he used. And I felt that, no, Charlie, we have a serious issue in this country that we are not addressing, because one, if all our human capital resources, especially the skilled ones like the nurses and other people, are leaving for greener pastures, it's presenting a situation where even if you go to the hospital, the people who are going to take care of you are not the best of the best. The best have been taken away to UK, US, Canada, and stuff. I'm not digressing. I'm still talking about the dollar rate and the difficulty we are experiencing in the country, making all these things expensive. Now, this increase in cement and other associated building materials is going to affect everything, even buildings that have been built maybe 5 years ago, because people know that now you are going to need maybe 3 times, 4 times the amount of capital to build those same houses. They're going to increase the cost of the buildings. So a house that was probably selling for, let's say, 1 million Ghana cedis, is now going to be selling for 2 million or 3 million cedis. And it's going to make it ever so more difficult for the ordinary Ghanaian to purchase a house, right? Because then if you are going for a mortgage, you are going to need more money to go for the mortgage. And most people's salaries have not been increased 2 or 3 times in the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's crazy. It's just crazy. Inflation is high. Everything is high. Fuel rates are at an abnormally high price, almost hitting 15 Ghana cedis, right? So right now, the advice I would give to anybody who is watching this video, and I want you guys to share this video, right, is don't be sitting on the fence too long. You have a parcel of land, you wanted to develop it, you are waiting to get X amount of money before you start. It might become almost impossible for you to use that X amount to even complete your foundation. I interviewed my good friend Ishmael Lamte, right? And he built a very small house. I'm trying to look for that house to show you. Very, very small 1-bedroom house. Okay. And when he built that house, it cost him about 80,000 cedis to 90,000 cedis to build a house. Today, that house, the least you can use to build that same 1-bedroom house, it's probably 150,000, 160,000 cedis. Good. So this is the house that he built initially, right? 1-bedroom house with a hip roof. He even put solar panels on it, because that was back in like 2020, 2021, right? And though even at that time the dollar rate was high, it was like 5 cedis, 6 cedis. Now it's 15 cedis, and experts are predicting that it's going to go as high as maybe 20 cedis by the end of the year. Charlie, we need a solution for this. This is not sustainable, right? Because now he needs almost 200 cedis to build that same 200,000 cedis to build a 1-bedroom house, a proper 1-bedroom house. Even the solar panels. I remember when I was doing solar on my building project, it was not so expensive. I did like a 5 kilowatt system, and everything cost me like 40,000 to 50,000 cedis. Today, every other thing has increased. Panels have increased, inverters have increased, batteries have increased. And so now, if I was going to do that same solar system I did like 2 years ago in 2022, I probably need 70,000 cedis to do it. Again, last year, a lot of people came to us to build walls, like fence walls for them. Sorry if I'm passionate or emotional, but I'm thinking about the younger generation, people who are now coming up, my children, my siblings, and things, people who are doing national service and things, who have not even bought land, right? So last year, people were coming to me for fence wall estimates, and people were coming for us to build fence wall for them. 50, 55,000, 100 by 70 plots, you could do a fence wall. This year, people are using 70,000, 80,000 to do the same fence wall. Now, with the price of cement increasing and blocks increasing, it means that for the same fence wall, you're probably going to need maybe 100,000 cedis, right? So you just, between last year and now, you've lost 50,000 cedis in constructing a fence wall around your plot of land. Like, it's wild. Let me pause here and read some of your questions, and then we continue with the topic, because today I am not excited at all. Like, I'm not enthused. I'm not happy. And so let me read your comments. Wow, a lot of comments here. So Abeba says, I honestly think we use too much cement and sand. It's about time we consider alternative, cheaper materials. That's one of the points I put down. So I put time to look at alternatives. So whilst I read their comments, you can suggest some of the alternatives. I put mine down, but you can suggest some alternatives that you have used or tried and it worked for you. Abdul Rauf Al Hassan says, prices of block, please, and should you mold or own block, or okay, should you mold your own block or buy it? Obviously, if you know what you are doing, you know the ratios to mold the blocks, you have the machinery, it is cheaper to mold than to go and purchase, right? Today, 5 inches hollow blocks are selling at about 7.6 Ghana cedis. 6 inches are selling at about 8.6 Ghana cedis in most places where I went. Okay, so he says he's watching from Ashoman Estate. That's nice. Ababa says, we have now aerated blocks and foam concrete blocks. These are all lightweight and cheaper for non-story buildings. I agree. And even now, the partitioning of the walls, you don't need to be doing cement and all these things. There are lots and lots of technologies. So I think Ghana, we really need to look at it, but I will come to that in just a few minutes. Abdul Rauf Al Hassan again says, we are in rainy season. Will the price come down anytime soon? Yes, ideally, in the rainy season, the price of building materials go down. However, right now, the exchange rate and the inflation is countering it. So as the rainy season causes demand of materials to go down, the exchange rate is countering it. Now, because the exchange rate is countering it, it's also making people go and rush to buy their cement. Now, when supply increases, then merchants are able to put a higher price on it to maximize profits. This is basic economics. And so I would not advise you to sit and wait because it's rainy season. Last year, I advised that around June, July, August, that the prices were reducing, purchase it now. Then from November, December, I started increasing, right? But right now, the situation we find ourselves is a bit different, especially considering that 2024 is an election year. Now, I did a lot of research before today's video went live, right? So, for example, let me just show you what it looks like in an election year. So this is 2016, right? In 2016, from January, the dollar was 3.8092. Oh, how I wish we could go back to 2016. Then what happens is that in every election year, there isn't a lot of productivity. There's net import as opposed to export. And Ghana has always been a net importer. But in election years especially, it's worse because politicians are importing things for billboards, importing things for t-shirts, banners, like buying cars to distribute and all these things. So we do a lot of import, right? We're also doing infrastructure works and all these things. Most of the contractors who are coming are not even in Ghana. So we pay them in dollars and all these things. It puts a lot of pressure on the currency. right? And so you notice that they will try to stabilize it a bit. So you notice that it went high, right, all the way to 3.9803. They will usually try to suppress it, bring it down. But the thing is, when it comes to the exchange rate, you can't, it's like you are pushing down a string on a spring. There's only that much you can do by pushing it down physically. After some time, when you push, you get tired, right? You lift your hand and it returns to where it's supposed to be. And so if you notice, back in 2016, as it's getting closer to the elections, then the price started increasing again till December, right, where it jumped to almost two times, 4.3605. So you can see how the year started 3.8. At the end of the year, it was 4.3605. And the worst thing is, after every election year, right, it gets worse because now during the elections, people will be complaining, hey, dollar rate is too high, this. Then the politicians will try to, do everything, every magic they can. Maybe they'll buy more dollars, they'll do all these things to try and cushion so that they can win elections and all these things. After that, in the next year, so God willing, 2025, I'm not like a doom prophet, but this is history. And me, I've been studying these things for a while. The years after the election year is when the dollar rate goes crazy. So this is 2016, right? Let's look at what 2017 looks like. So right after the election, they tried to bring things back. Okay, maybe there's a new government. So in this instance, there was a new government. They quickly want to put in certain policies. The market will react and respond to it. Oh, sorry, I was not even showing. So this is 2017, right? 3.8092. Okay, no, this is 2017. So after the election, it went all the way to 4.23. Then the new government will come, they will put in their policies and all these things. Then it will go down, the market will react. But then because it was an artificial suppression, it will quickly rise. So you notice that around the first quarter, where people begin to declare their profits and like the multinational companies begin to move their funds out of the country and all these things, then you now see the true picture of the exchange rate, right? So usually after the first quarter, people publish their profits and their loss positions and things like that, and you begin to see the true picture. So when they now begin to move the money out, see where it gets to. It gets to 4.77. Then they implement policies, they go to IMF and all these things, and then it comes down. But then you notice that overall, it will still be higher than what the previous year started with. Now, similarly, let's go to 2020. Because the Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. What has happened is what will be, right? If you want to see what the future will look like, just look at the past. And so I want us to critically look at the past. Now, this is 2020. Again, it's an election year. We started the year at about 5.7. Then, it's an election year. We'll do things. Hey, then Charlie, some miracles. Then the dollar came as low as 5.3, right, in the first quarter. But you notice that again, as the first quarter reaches and people begin to publish their profit and loss positions, the rate begins to increase because you can't keep pressing on the spring forever. Eventually, it will climb to where it's supposed to be. Similarly, when you pass that side, okay, you are now going to rise. Then as you move towards the elections, because a lot of spending goes into it, infrastructure and things, you will get the highest peak in December. So you notice that the highest peak in 2020 was actually the election year, right? It was actually the election year, 5.97. So the thing went as low as 5.32 to 5.97. Then again, after elections, people are unsure about what the results will be. Okay, all right, there's another 4 years for the government. People who went to take their money from the bank and, disinvested and all these things are coming back onto the market. But then you move into the next year after that. And like I said, every year after elections, the rate of the cedi to dollar is always going to be the very highest it has ever been, right? I hope you guys are following. And if you are finding value from this video, please like this video. Can we get 1,000 likes on this video? There are already 224 people who are watching this video. So let's go back to the year 2021, right? So in 2020, we ended the year at 5.97. You notice that after the first quarter, they managed to push the thing down, so it came down to 5.7. But then at the end of the next year, it's going to be higher than it was the previous year, right? 6.1704. And so that brings us to the exchange rate this year, 2024. Now, this is what this election year 2024 looks like. It's the worst it has ever been, right? And obviously, there are lots of factors which have now come into play. Many factors, which we'll not be able to look at in this video. But I'm just showing you these graphs so that you understand where we are. And then when you decide that you are going to wait for cement prices to reduce, you take a second look at it, right? Because based on history, from now till the end of the year, it's just going to increase. And then in 2025, it will be at the highest than this year. So if we are complaining this year that the exchange rate is high, God have mercy upon Ghana in 2025. Unless we do things completely different as a country, history may repeat itself, right? So let me read some of your comments and then we can continue. Gilbert Asamoah says, it's scary the rate of price increases. You can't even blink an eye. It's sad. Okay. Setra Kofi says, good evening, bro. Joseph Chumesi says, how many panels? Oh, just 8 panels that I have. Setra Kofi says, I'm in Brekum. Good to see somebody in Brekum. Courage Adai says, building materials are too much because I bought a cement bag, 42.5 hour of Jata, 95 cedis last week at Wager. Okay. Gabriel Nunu says, it's so hard to budget and build. Running from inflation while building is difficult. This is how projects get choked. I agree with you that this is how projects get choked. So we've looked at the factors which are influencing the increase in cement. And like I said, the increase in cement is going to impact every other thing, right? Even completed buildings that were built in the year 1999. If somebody is selling it now, he will look at how much will it cost me to build that same house. So let's say for my own building project, 5-bedroom house, let's say I use $200,000 to build it. Or let's say I even use 2 million cedis to build it so that we don't quote dollars. Including the solar, fixing the road and all that, right? Now, if I'm selling the house, I cannot sell it at 2 million cedis, though that's what I've used. I need to look at, okay, I go and pick my Excel sheet of the materials, the bill of quantities, and I look at every material. I look at the rate when I started, and then I put the actual rate today there, right, for every material. And then I add maybe a small profit margin of, let's say, 10 to 15% or 20%. And then I now use that to sell the house. And that will probably take us to about 3 million cedis. Do you understand? And it's wild. It means that people who are renting houses too, their rent is going to increase. Because the landlords know that now you don't have anywhere to go. It's going to be super difficult for you to go and build a house, right? So you don't have a lot of choice. You don't have options. You can't bargain. And if you can't bargain, they are just going to charge you more. So please, if you've ever been sitting on the fence, whether to build, to buy, you have money just sitting there and it's not doing anything. If you get a good house, please buy. If you get a good land, please buy and start something. If your plan is not to build, dear Charlie, I'm fine. But if your plan is to build, please, I beg you. History has taught us, let's not make those same mistakes. Right now, like I sometimes pity myself. Like I don't know even how to explain it. I wanted to buy a camera. It was 17,000 cedis in December. I waited and waited and waited. Now that camera is 30,000 cedis. By the end of the year, it could be 40,000 cedis. And right now it's like, okay, I'm at the point of no return. I either go in for it or I wait till it becomes 50,000 CDs. Look, anything you want to buy, don't wait. Buy it. If you can buy a lot of it, go ahead. Again, another example. Just March into April, I went to Kitia, Ghana. It's a furniture shop. And I wanted to buy like a desk for my YouTube videos, right? A desk where I can be working from and be doing my videos. The desk was 2,430 CDs. I think I have the receipt somewhere here. Last week, I went there again. I was looking for couches to buy. My goodness, that desk in just 2 months, the price has increased. So right now it's sitting at 4,200 and something Ghana cedis, almost doubled. And I thought, no, maybe this shop is being like overpriced. So I went to Okadeko, the same price. I went to all the stores along the roadside, the same price. And I said, hey, Charlie, it's not easy. I had planned to buy some furniture pieces and things like that. Everything has increased. Charlie, if you have something to buy, buy. In fact, today we had planned that we'll come and talk about buying and importing things from China. But when I saw the price of cement and building materials, I felt, no, let's talk about it. God willing, if the prices don't increase, next week when we come, we'll talk about the prices, how to buy things from China and stuff. Because I feel that, again, if anything that you are purchasing from China, be it tiles, be it raw materials, whatever, right, is going to delay, then you should probably start buying it, like lights, your bathroom finishing and things like that, your kitchen finishing. Charlie, just start doing it now, because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be very, very crazy. I remember this is Hisense, right? They were running a promotion for air conditioners, and see the number of people who rushed there. And this is Black Friday. Because I remember when I was first buying my air conditioners for the house where I live in currently, one air conditioner, 1.5 horsepower with inverter, it's even 3 stars, it's not 5 stars or 4 stars, was selling at about 3,000 cedis in 2021. This year, when I went again, it was selling at 5,900 cedis, so essentially 6,000 cedis. So imagine you need to buy 5 air conditioners for your house. You're paying 30,000, whereas a few months ago you could probably pay 15,000. And by the end of the year, you could be paying 50,000 cedis or 60,000 cedis. So I think I've made the point. Let me read some of your comments and then we continue. Courage Adai says, how much can I spend on building a 4-bedroom self-contained? Courage, it all depends on your architectural drawings. How big are the rooms? What's the complexity of the design? What's the total land area that you are building at, right? So it depends on your architectural drawings. What materials are you using? Like, is it a story building? Is it a bungalow styled house? How deep is your foundation? There are so many factors. There's no given fixed cost. And then again, it depends on the quality of your finishing. Some people like, hey, Charlie, some people like good things. So, we all like good things. I remember when I was buying these my bathroom sets, okay, I went to the Spintex Road where, like, there's the Spintex Road, there's a portion that's just purely building material finishing items. And I went to Palace initially for some bathroom fittings, right? And the prices were okay. So I said, let me go and look at maybe the other places. I might find the prices a bit cheaper. Charlie, I went to one retail outlet that I will not mention their name. Everything, including the shower taps, was like 6 times the price that the first guys were selling it at. And I said, wow, that's amazing. But people were buying things from there. So, people have different standards and tastes when it comes to finishing their building project. So, everybody's, taste is subjective. And yeah, there's no fixed cost. If you have your architectural drawings, you can send it to us via email, and then we'll prepare a bill of quantities for you. Okay. Are you answering questions in this live? Yes, we're answering questions. Okay, so somebody says she just got on, but I can't even see the person's name. Okay, Abdul Rao says, why don't you create a group so that people can reuse materials like board for a fraction of a price and return it to the owner? We need to have a building logistic. Wood is really expensive. It makes a lot of sense. Napoleon De Conti says exactly 100. Daniel Aidan says, please, I want to know the number of blocks that you can use one bag of cement to lay. You can use one bag of cement to lay 40 to 45 blocks. Construction Wizard. Construction Wizard is watching from Canada. Charlie, my brother, it's good to see you. You've left Ghana and right now we are suffering. You took all the good things with you. You and everybody is leaving the country. Do you know anything or anyone building with F blocks? So for me, I'll just be honest with you. I haven't built with F blocks before, right? But I know in Ghana back in the days we used to build with F blocks, and I know some people have contacted me, like a Kriya who is building somewhere at Pram. She wants to use round F and stuff. It's not something that I know about, so I can't really talk about it unless I find an expert to interview for the person to, share their opinions and all. Salome says, sorry, I'm late. Oh, Salome, you're not late at all. Charlie, good to see you. Good to see you. And talking about good to see you, Gerald Chum, I just want to say thank you so much. Last week, which was my birthday, Charlie, Gerald blasted my account with so much money, Charlie. Hey, made my day. Gerald, wherever you are, God bless you. I really appreciate you. You and Justice, oh, just amazing for the support. I mean, you guys always support, but these people blasted money into my account and Charlie made my day. All right, Abdallah says, this is getting worse. Why Ghana? Why? Abdul, I can understand your pains and frustrations, and we sympathize with you. Like, we can only pray and then work and hope our leaders do the right thing and then hold them accountable, and we ourselves do the things that we can, right? Owahene Jumo Champon says, Daniel, you can lay one bag of cement 30 blocks. Emmanuel Ansan says, so you are saying we shouldn't build in Ghana when earning 4K. How we go do am, bro? Oh, I never said you shouldn't build when you are earning 4K. I think people misunderstood my video. Now, for those who don't know what he's talking about, I made a video on Instagram and TikTok, right? It never came on YouTube, where I was talking about teachers and how low a salary they earn, because I watched the news article where somebody who says he's a director working for about 19 years is earning 4060, which is 4,060 Ghana cedis. Now, if you don't know like what 4,060 Ghana cedis means, in dollar terms, 4,060 is like $300. Yes, it was like $300. For a teacher who has been working for 19 years, how much are you going to spend on your expenses, on your family, your bills, your utilities, and all these things? And then how much are you going to use for building? And so if he's the one who's been working 19 years and earning 4,060, he says those who just started are earning way lower. So I'm assuming somebody's earning like 2,000 cedis. How much are you going to eat? What are you going to use for light, water, data, phone calls, clothes, hospital bills? And how much are you going to save to build? Gone were the days where you could build a house with 50,000 cedis in Ghana. Today, you cannot build any proper house with 50,000 unless you are using probably wood, right? So it just tells us, I was trying to point out the fact that, one, the salaries of critical workers are very low, and that's why a lot of people are leaving. A lot of people are leaving Ghana, Charlie. Like I said, somebody contacted me this evening. He has 2 plots of land at Abokobi. He's selling to use the money to get a visa and buy plane ticket and leave to go and study, because he knows when he goes to study, he'll get a good job that can buy him a land or even a house. Plenty people are leaving. And it's sad, right? I recently went to meet somebody who was coming for a corporate event at the airport. And when you get there, the number of people, the airport is like a market now, especially Sunday nights by this time. Go and see. Construction Wizard, when you were going, how many people were on the flight? The flight was fully booked, I'm sure. And when you get there, the airport is full. Even when I traveled in January, Charlie, the place was mad. Like, it was so full. I hear there are like 11 flights leaving Ghana in a week for one airline or something. It's crazy. And all those flights are fully booked. Hey, no, Charlie, it's a serious thing. Oh. Sometimes we are saying it like it's play, but if one flight can take even 150 people and one airline is taking 1,000 people out in a week, that's serious. You there, let me go back to the thing before, Charlie, I get emotional. So the point I was making was, if your salary is low, then you need to consider maybe, earning additional sources of income before you can even think about building some of these modern houses. You need to learn a skill, you need to, upgrade yourself, learn relevant courses and all these things. So that was just the point I was trying to make. I wasn't saying that you can't build. You can start building. In fact, I added that, but it will take you maybe 20 years to complete your building project at that salary level. But people got upset. It was in the news. Hey, unknown Ghanaian man says, you cannot build a house if you're a teacher. In fact, that was the headline that they created. Our journalists, some of them are very lazy. Royal Bloodline says, good evening, good evening. Would you consider getting an expert on earth block building? Yes, I would, because at this rate that the cement prices are going high. Definitely. In fact, I think this is a good segue to talk about alternative building material. So I see people talking about the rammed earth. There's also the interlocking bricks or the bent bricks, where you save like 10 to 15% because you don't necessarily need to do plastering. There's wood, right? There's this safari in Eiiiiii. I've forgotten the name. Somebody who knows should put it in the comments. When you go there, they have these wooden structures that they are building, and people go and pay how much. Let me try and find the name. Please, anybody who knows the name of this safari in Eiiiiii, Safari Valley. Yes, Safari Valley. And their rates, I'm looking for their rates. So Safari Valley rates. Yes, okay, good. I'm on their site now. Their rates are crazy expensive, right? Because they are giving you some good packages. And the properties are made of wood, like the structures are made of wood, but people go and pay that much to go and live inside it, right? So why can't you also build your house with wood then? So the stay packages, I'm trying to load it, but it's taking some time. So you there, anybody who knows it can put the rates in the comments below. This one's free advertising I'm doing for them. But like it was like 9,000 Cedis a night or something. I've forgotten. It was very expensive. And so if you can go and live in those wooden rooms as a getaway, why can't you build your house and do the right things and use wood? That's an alternative. You can also do what was it called? Shipping container homes, right? So all those are alternatives. And like I said, the partitions, you people who are in Canada and US, you know that most of your houses, they don't partition it with blocks like this. They use these styrofoam partitions and things like that, plasterboard partitions and all. So you can also do same. Okay. Swizz 30 says, oh Charlie bro, least we can do. Your content is super helpful. Thank you. I'm guessing you are either Justice or you are Gerard. Thank you. Thank you for the support, you guys. Royal Bloodline says, yes, how do you feel about Earth RAM? It seems more affordable. James Bruce says, good hold our leaders. It's good to hold our leaders accountable and jail them, not prayers in the developed world. They don't use prayers to solve problems. I agree. On average, I know it depends on the design, but on average, what's the cost of a 3-bedroom house? On average, please. Look, if I tell you, so for example, somebody's 3-bedroom house will cost him maybe $150,000. Another person's 3-bedroom house will cost them $60,000. So it's difficult to tell. What I would say is budget a minimum of 300,000 Cedis for a good 1-bedroom house, a proper 1-bedroom house with your air conditions, your tiles, your windows, your POP or plaster boards, your LED lights, your gates and your wall and all those things. Fence wall and all those electric fence and all these good things, right? Budget a minimum of 300,000. You get a good house. So then the more rooms you have, 2 rooms, the price will reduce a bit because there's that in economics, guy, a friend is saying when you are buying things in bulk and the prices reduce, a friend saying something economies of scale. Yes. Hey Charlie, school now she say you're refilling your money now. Yeah, so the more rooms, the less the price goes. So maybe 2 bedrooms, 450, 500, 3 bedrooms, 700, 800. But somebody's 2 bedrooms can be 1 million. So it depends on the quality. Right. I'll continue to read your comments. Gilbert, as someone says, I'm Paris based but watching from Manchester at the moment. Oh, nice. Common Sense says, I'm using Rammed F. Great. So, Common Sense, what has the experience been like? Let us know. Watching from New York. Yes, please, interlocking building. Common Sense, are you in Ghana now? Okay, great. So, they are linking up in the chat. There are over 393 people who have watched this live. And we have just 27 likes. Oh, guys, are you not enjoying the video? There are over 106 people who are live on the video. Please, can we like the video? Right. Richard, thank you for putting the prices on the chat. Gilbert says, hello, boss. Thanks so much for your content. I love it. Reach out for cost estimates. More desperate to get confirmation of materials as opposed to the actual prices as project outside Accra. Yes, Richard, we've seen your mail. We're actually taking a look at it, so we'll get back to you. Common Sense says, yes, I came in October past. Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's go back to the topic on, the cost of cement and why the cost of cement has increased and what you need to do to safeguard your building project so that your cement does not, or your building project does not come to a halt. All right, so let's go back to the news articles, right? Because a lot has been happening in the media since the price of cement started increasing. Now, the minister told the cement manufacturers to reduce their cost, but GREDA, which is the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, right, said it is going to be difficult to implement this reduction in price. Mr. Amegaibo, who is the executive secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Development Association, right, expressed surprise at the astronomical increase imposed on cement prices in the country, stating that it will affect the work of builders, which will lead to an increase in the price of houses. Speaking on an interview with Nathan Kwao, City Breakfast Show, he said the price difference between the various brands of cement when the starting price for cement was 45 was just 1 cedi. But now the difference now is between 8 and 10 cedis. Just yesterday, cement prices went up by about 10 and 12 cedis, and the starting price of cement is now 85 upwards, right? So again, he says, if my minister issues a statement that there's a concern with cement prices, I agree with him, right? However, I don't know how that will work because we are in a free market economy and it will be difficult to achieve that, but the request must be fair. The manufacturers struggle to produce the product, and we would have wished to know the government's contribution toward helping to bring down the price. Okay, so on 16th May, these are the cement manufacturers chamber, right? They justify the recent price hikes in cement products. According to the chamber, the increase in the prices is largely as a result of the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi against the dollar and rising cost of production. And this comes after the Minister for Trade and Industry addressed the recent surge in cement prices. But in a statement signed by the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers, Dr. George Dawson Amwa, the chamber explained that the cement industry relies on importing raw materials priced in foreign currencies, particularly the dollar, which has increased costs. Additionally, some tariffs, levies, and taxes imposed by other authorities, such as the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, are also dollar denominated, further exacerbating expenses, a part of the press release said. And then they stated that in order to ensure operational viability and product quality, it is necessary to adjust the prices of cement. Okay, then again, there's another one. The Trade Minister bemoans surge in cement prices, alleges conspiracy among cabal producers and importers. So So as you can see, there's been a lot of back and forth between the trade and industry minister versus the people who actually produce the cement. And it is just crazy in Ghana here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the situation we find ourselves in this country. We've done 55 minutes and we'll be closing this live in the next 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, please keep them coming. I'm going to read your comments and then we are going to wrap up this video. But make sure to like this video. We currently have 36 likes. Can we at least get 500 likes? Because there are about 424 people who have watched the video so far. All right, so Abdul says, oh my God, I'm trying very hard to do something in Ghana so I can come back home. But with this stuff going on, so this one like this, Abdul has made up his mind actually. He's not going to come back home. Oh, he has given up on the country. Bukari says, how much is cement trip? How much is current trip of sand double axle? Oh, okay, Bukari, I think you joined a bit late, but for those who are just joining, double axle trip of sand, depending on the location, because the prices differ. In Accra, guys, municipality can get it between 2,200 to 3,000 cedis. I hear people are buying sand for 4,000 cedis in Sunyani and Bolgatanga, and it's mad, it's crazy. Napoleon De Conti says a bag of cement costs 89 cedis in my area. Before Kumasi. Actually, Napoleon, buy it plenty and mold blocks, or buy it plenty, or go into an agreement with the merchants, or because maybe the wave which has started in Accra like this, no, it hasn't reached Kumasi, but when it reaches there, people will be clapping your hands. Common sense says, I was told rammed earth is expensive. Is it as costly as using cement? How far along has your build come? Okay, so I'm sure she's talking with the other person who says they used rammed earth. Joseph Chumisi says, let's build according to our strengths, because the project drags for a long time. You might be unable to complete it. Okay, somebody says she liked the video and shared it. Joseph again says, I got my plastering sand for 2,200 cedis this week, so it falls within the range that I mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to order the solar cameras, right? These solar cameras, they have night vision capabilities. You can actually control the cameras remotely from UK, US, Canada, anywhere you are. They are waterproof. They support a storage card. The ones we sell come with 128 gigs of storage, and you can put your 4G SIM inside so that you don't need a wireless router to monitor your feed anywhere in the world. You can actually listen to audio from the microphone embedded on the camera, so that when the people are gossiping about you, you get to hear about it. And you can actually talk to your workers through the camera. And it has many amazing features. It has an inbuilt battery, and it's powered by solar technology, so that you don't have to worry about doom. So unlike the traditional CCTV, where when the light goes off, it goes off. And so you can send us an email to order yours. Somebody ordered 5. We have just 10 remaining. So send us an email, africabuildinghub@gmail.com. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's still my birthday month. The whole month of May is my birthday month. So you are welcome. If you want to, provide any support to us financially, any way you can support, we would appreciate you. All right, I'll read the last couple of comments and then we close. Napoleon says, thank you, boss. I've bought 150 bags already for my building. Thumbs up, Napoleon. Bukari83 says, what's the current price of cement at Ashalaja? I wouldn't know, but anybody who is watching, whether the live or the replay, kindly comment and let us know the price of cement at Ashalaja. Gilbert Asamoah says, for how long can we store cement bags? Seeing the constant increase in price of cement, would you advise we buy and stock them? Under what storage conditions? What do you think? Okay, so typically cement, optimal storage conditions, 3 to 4 months. Best, of course, run at 6 months, but you want to keep yourself within the 3 to 4 months. Now, when you purchase the cement, check the expiry date. At least you know when it has, like, they were keeping it, so that you don't buy it. Maybe the expiry is 1 month, and but because I've said 3 to 4 months, then you go and keep it for 3 to 4 months. By the time you come, it's cake. So any cement you buy, there must be an expiry date. If there isn't an expiry date, please return it. Check the expiry date. 3 to 4 months optimal storage. Cement doesn't like moisture, so you need to keep it away from moist environments. Keep it on a wooden pallet, or get into an agreement with the merchant if you are buying, let's say, 1,000 bags of cement. Yesterday I was talking to somebody who lives in the diaspora, right? When he moves to the diaspora, the work stops. When he comes to Ghana, it continues. But to hedge against inflation and all these cement price hikes, what he does is he's gotten into an agreement with a merchant at East Legon Hills, right? And so he's paid for like the 1,000 bags that he needs. So maybe he paid 80,000 cedis. Whenever he needs it, it doesn't matter if it's next 2 years, the merchant will supply because the merchant is using the money to trade and make profits, right? And so for him, he doesn't really care if the prices increase. So you can enter into some of these agreements and see if it works for you. Again, you can engage our channel partner, which is SuperSem Ghana, for your cement, right? You can engage SuperSem Ghana and contact them on the numbers on the screen for bulk orders, and they'll be willing to give you a good deal if you tell them you're coming from Africa Building Hub. Okay, so last comments and then we call it a day. Have you heard of Deep Blue solar generator? If so, what's your opinion? Sorry, I haven't, so no opinion. Gilbert says, for how long can we... Okay, I've answered that. Happy birthday, thank you. Jacqueline Ajayi says, I've sent 3 emails, but no one has about this camera from UK. I'm coming to Ghana in a week. Oh, are you serious? Jacqueline, please, apologies. Can you like resend it and just send it to africabuildinghub@gmail.com. I'll be shocked if nobody has responded, but kindly resend so that it comes on top of the mails. Okay, my apologies. Because we try to be very responsive when people send emails. In fact, you rather get us on email than on WhatsApp. If anybody has experienced that we are responsive on email, comments below and let us know. Common Sense says, I never started building yet. I'm just getting drawings done. Do you know about Rammed Earth? Okay, so I think we've answered that. I don't know much about Rammed Earth, so I'll try and get an expert on the channel. If you know anybody too you can recommend, they can send us an email and we'll interview them. I'm trying to send you a gift, but I don't see any icons on your page. Oh, in Ghana and creators, we are suffering. No, we don't have the same features that creators in the US, Europe, etc. have, where you can send gifts. So if you really want to support us, you can send an email and we'll show you how to send us via mobile money or bank transfer. Fortunately, creators in Ghana, it's difficult. And then now the government even wants to tax creators for the small money that we'll get from YouTube, the $100 and things that we'll be getting. The government wants to tax us 15% or say 20% or whatever. It's difficult. Gilbert says, thanks, Bebre, for your response. Thanks, Bebre, everybody, for watching till this point. If you're watching the replay also, you've watched till the end, comment, I watched to the end, so that Charlie, I celebrate you guys. And I know you guys are amazing. And I wish you a very blessed week. I wish you success in your building project. I wish that everything your hand touches to do will be blessed. And I wish you take good care of yourself, be in good health, so that God willing, next week, same time, if you are new, every Sunday, 9 p.m., we come live to discuss pertinent issues on building in Ghana. And we believe whatever we share is applicable in any country, even in Africa. So if you like that kind of content, subscribe, turn on all notifications,